Okay, there you go. Okay, sorry folks. So we had a minor glitch here. We had to restart the broadcast. So we're back with Joe, Gough, and Mico, Malencki, and Matt Perez from Nearsoft. Okay, guys. So we should probably just continue where we left off, and I'll let you guys do the talking for now. I have a question myself, but for Joe, but I'll just save it for a few minutes down the road. So, okay, Matt, back to you, and
Well,
Joe.
the last thing that you guys mentioned is the thing that more lecturing is not going to get people to change, and that's clear from everything we've done we know about smoking, right? So the more you lecture people on smoking, the more that they don't change, so they don't quit smoking. It's when that moment comes, as you said, Joe, it was very well put. When that moment comes in their lives, when people go, okay, I got to change, I got to do something about my health. That's when things happen.
Yeah, and sometimes, and everybody has different triggers, right? We're all a matrix of a whole bunch of different influential factors, but sometimes it's the embracing of a certain visualization, right? The mindfulness and the ability to own your own vision of what success looks like and what failure looks like. And some people, react to negative criticism better. Some people need an attaboy and congratulations to be compelled to do something. And one of the best ones, that I've used in my own family to help someone close to me quit smoking was to, I told him, why don't you visualize your grandchild smoking, because they saw you smoking. And it was overnight. I mean, overnight you saw an immediate, and this particular individual hasn't won the battle yet, but I know right now that this individual is not going to quit quitting, because I stick that visualization in their mind on a regular basis. So you play with different things like that, and we're starting to use our digital platform, our digital health platform, to create moments of mindful visualization. So the patient, if you just spend 45 seconds a day, and that's a victory, right? If you do 45 seconds every single day of taking a deep breath and visualizing your positive health outcome, and an application is what tells you to do that, reminds you to do that, well, that's digital health. And it's also digital humanism, because it's compelling you to make an action that's going to contribute to your wellness.
So, and is that the example of something that you guys do with your software?
It's something we're starting to do with our messaging app right now. We're actually partnering with Jeannie Laborde, who wrote a book called Influencing with Integrity. You want to tell them a little bit about neuro-linguistic programming and where that comes from?
Yeah, so I mean, my understanding of neuro-linguistic programming actually has changed a lot since I've been talking to Jeannie a lot. But so her description is that it's a branch of Gestalt psychology, and she's actually written, I think, over 30 other books. And she's really well known, and her clients, range from IBM to Chase Manhattan Bank, and so she's just neuro-linguistic programming is just this, in my interpretation, this idea that it's I mean, this is a tough thing to just summarize real quick, but it's
that's why I gave it to you.
Yeah. So my understanding is that it's not always paying attention to the content. It's sort of reading between the lines and understanding humans beyond just what the information that we use on a daily basis. It's sort of paying attention to their body and paying attention to the words they use and really just getting more intimate with patients.
Yeah, I mean, one of the examples is that if you are mindful, and I don't know if either of you practice meditation or if any of your audience practices meditation, one of the ideas of mindfulness is that you're practicing the focus of attention in a very singular way to not necessarily block out everything else. That's a common misconception. It's actually focusing to allow in everything else subconsciously, right? So it's like I'm using my eyes, and my mental focus is on an object, or it's on a sound, if I'm going auditory, and I use that to kind of just zero out everything that is in my focal element, but I'm still receiving everything at a very high level. And when you really can kind of tap in to what you're receiving and all that your sensory perception is taking in subconsciously, you start to understand why something triggers me. What is that smell? And bam, I want to make a bad decision in my diet because I smelled that. Or what is that I saw that infuriated me while I was driving my car? I saw somebody do something, and now I'm enraged. I don't like the way he was driving, and now I'm taking on stress, and stress is not good for my heart. You know, we do this every day. We have little influential factors that we might not even be conscious of that are influencing our stress, our breathing, our relationships with our spouses, the way we eat. All of this, you know, can be much better controlled if we understand the full gamut of sensory perception that we're receiving and why we react to it the way we do.
Cool. And is any of this incorporated into your software?
Yeah, so that's a big part of what we're releasing in 2016. Right now, we message you the same way that any other app messages you. When to take your medications, have you seen your primary care physician, have you picked up your prescriptions, are you taking them correctly, are you monitoring your physical activity limitations, all the stuff that any doctor wants to know about their patients. Where we're going with the next level is these moments of mindfulness and how to be more cognizant of practicing mindfulness before you make bad decisions. We're trying to get people in the, you know, if you can make one health-related decision a day through this system that we're going to be releasing, where you're much more in tune, it's a much more meditative decision-making process. It takes 90 seconds to do, and we want you to do one decision a day, and that's a victory. And you'll see that that's going to become a common theme in our WellOpp, WELLOPP.com, that we're going to be releasing full bore in 2016. But WellOpp is going to be all about the idea of getting small victories on the way to your grand plan for yourself, right? We can't try to win. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. We can't do the whole thing all at once. I myself have failed so many times trying to make lifestyle changes when I looked at it big picture and said, I need to change my life. No, I need to focus on eating a plant-based diet, not eating so much red meat. One little success, plant-based, not as much red meat, is a win for me, and I need to celebrate that victory so that I can move on and get the next victory.
Yes, the celebration is a big part of it, and we don't do it enough, and it's not encouraged enough, whatever, but even celebrating the small, in particular, celebrating the small wins is really,
Amen.
And that's something that we're really conscious of in the company. We even celebrate it when somebody leaves because it's a win for them, and maybe it's going to be a win for us eventually, you know. So yeah, that's very close. And as far as meditation, I do it. I think everybody in my family does it. So.
And it's great for the workplace, right? It's great for Nearsoft. It's great for any company because it makes your employees more productive. They deal with the stressors that often come more effectively, and they're going to be less of a healthcare burden on everybody when they're mindful.
Right. Yeah, and the software like that would be helpful even if people, particularly if people aren't sick. I mean, there's still little decisions you have to make every day, like you said. You know, not eating a pound of meat or whatever, and eating some vegetable instead. So yeah, it sounds like a great direction to go. I don't know, Carlos, you had a question? We're close to running out of time.
Yeah, well, two things. Yeah, we're approaching. We still have about 12 minutes, but two things. As I was listening to Joe talk about mindfulness, and meditation, and how, and the amount of good it would do to a company, couldn't help but thinking of, this is just a comment, but I couldn't help it. I thought about Google's Search Inside Yourself program. They have a program uh, called, as I said, Search Inside Yourself, and it was created by a former engineer. Curiously, I mean, he was a Chinese gentleman. He's Chade Meng Tang. That's the name. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, and he was a former engineer, and then he quit engineering to focus entirely on this program, which turned out to work wonders for the company, and they also started exporting it to other companies. So it just rang a bell. So hopefully, I kind of try to push occasionally now and then for initiatives of that nature, similar to those here at Nearstop. So eventually, I hope that we're going to have something in place. And the other thing that I wanted to mention, Joe, and this is pertaining to. I was remembering something that was I thought it was fun. I mean, it was funny and fun. The cow principle you mentioned, and I even wrote it down. Computer on wheels. So I was thinking about that, and so it led me to wonder a little bit about specific business processes. For example, have you ever dealt with people who might be labeled as someone who or want to use or think that businesses should use technology to, let's say, to optimize their processes, but with limited consideration to the people who use the systems? So it's kind of a contradiction in terms. Okay, so they want to optimize the process, but they have little or limited consideration to the actual folks who end up using the systems. So how do you overcome these types of challenges when you encounter those types of mindsets?
Well, first of all, that is everywhere in our industry. So it is pervasive. It's an infection in healthcare. No one considers the nurse or the case manager or the social worker that is actually going to have. All they care about is these beautiful data visualizations and analytics reports that the CEO and COO and CFO of these corporations want. And I'm not saying that those aren't important, but you're never, it's the classic case in data science. Garbage in, garbage out. If the person entering the data hates the fact that they have to enter it and is just negatively pounding that keyboard, they're not only going to make mistakes, but they're going to enter the fastest, most expedient thing that they can to get it done with. And they're not going to pay attention to accuracy. They're not going to labor to intimate exactly what the nuances of this patient engagement might be. Because you didn't create a format built for them with the social worker, with the nurse, and their workflow in mind, they are going to corrupt and pollute your data that they are entering. And then when the CEO sees this beautifully visualized multicolor graph, it's all garbage that doesn't matter to anybody because it was inaccurate when it was entered.
Okay, there you have it. That was a
So to just answer the question effectively, you have to build from user experience at the ground floor backwards to the beautiful visualization of the data. We have to build tools that people enjoy using. And that's the key. It's not just it's part of my job, but for them actually to get some satisfaction out of using it. So we built a whole incentive program. The way we give prize points and rewards points away, we're going to give rewards points away to patients. We're giving rewards points away to nurses, the way they use the program, and those reward points can be turned into gift cards and things like that based on the process improvement feedback that they send us. We're working hand in glove to inspire them to give us the feedback that we need to make the tool fit their workflow.
Okay, great, awesome. Thank you again, Joe. I'm gonna say this is gonna be my final question for the day. if and it's a, I'm trying to word my thoughts. Okay, here it is. If you had to choose, for example, one single phrase or one single sentence or maybe a couple of words or something short that you could assemble to encourage digital machinists to become digital humanists, what would you tell them?
I'll let Mico answer his from the programming perspective, but
Okay.
you hit the perfect segue for me because I've got a photo. I've got a little photo, a little prop element for you.
Oh.
Can you?
It's people. It kind of reflects. Okay, people may forget what you said or did, but not how you made them feel. Well, there you have it.
You know, so what I'm saying is that, you know, when Mico is really the driver of this for me. He's the first person that brought this home for me.
Okay.
Is that every solution that catches hold, when you look at a Google search box, don't you have like this almost excitement because you know that this is so simple. I'm just going to put something into it and I'm going to get results that I can use. They're usually going to be really good results. So any solution that grips humanity with this success orientation is a solution that has that kind of simplicity and makes me feel that way. People don't forget the way you make them feel. And you know, Mico always drives that home with when we are working on something.
Perfect. Mico?
So this will be the single sentence
Yeah.
still.
How would you encourage a digital machinist to become a digital humanist?
I think how I would do it is I would encourage them to slow down and really focus on what the actual goal is. I think a lot of technology products get carried away with features and cool bells and whistles and achieving something that's maybe impressive and complex, but we lose sight of what the actual outcome is that people are after, right? And what the goal is, and what the goal is for you specifically in relation to your health and well-being and living a successful life, successful not just financially, but successful holistically.
Mm-hmm.
And health and wellness is, I think, central to that. It's the foundation of everything, really.
Perfect. Okay, guys, we're approaching the final.
You froze.
For comments for Mico and Joe.
Carlos, are you waiting for us to? You kind of froze in the middle there, so we're not sure.
I'm sorry. Well, you can hear me, right?
We can hear you now.
Okay.
Perfect.
Oh, sorry, I got probably. Yeah, I was going to say we're about to wrap up today's broadcast, Matt. So I wonder if you have any final or any more questions for either Joe or Mico.
Oh, me? No, no. The thing that resonated with me was when they were talking about the how little consideration hospitals and places like that give to nurses in particular, social case workers and things like that, is pretty amazing. To me, they're critical, right? And that they're the critical caretakers in the place, and still they're very secondary. So, so if you guys are taking them into consideration, and that's, to me, that's very important. So.
Perfect. Thank you, Matt. Okay. Well, Joe, Mico, I want to thank you so much for having agreed to be here today, and we're going to be in touch, Joe and Mico, because we are sending our guest speakers some non-digital tokens of appreciation, which are going to be sent to you by FedEx. So we're going to be in touch, and I really want to thank you again for having set aside your time to talk to us here. And we'll, Joe, I'm going to send you the link with the episode that, as we discussed earlier. And on behalf of myself and Nearsoft, Thank you so much. I look forward to having you again sometime in the future.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
You guys have a great holiday season, and we'll be in touch.
You too. God bless.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.